Hey everybody, how's it going? To the Bay. Botaji, Bonoich. Yeah, it's Bonoich. As you can see, I got a little bit of color. It's very warm here now today, and I burned the crap out of myself on the beach yesterday. Um, so it actually looks redder on camera than it really is. And look at my lovely new scapulary, which I love. My husband bought me. Hmm. Um, so it is good to see you all, and uh, Sláinte. That's Gaelic for cheers, or Soji, or cheers, whatever. I just wanted to do a little bit of a talk. Sometimes things are in my head. I am a total political junkie, believe it or not. Um, I watch tons and tons and tons of YouTube and lots and lots of news, and I listen to LBC in England, and I listen to my own home channel RTE during the afternoon and during the evening, news nights and so on. And um, I am pretty much obsessed with American politics and British politics and my own politics in my own country. And I've started to be much more interested in politics here in the Algarve in Portugal. But I'm fascinated particularly about American politics. I'm currently reading Maggie Haberman's book, I listen to my books on Audible, but I'm currently listening to Confidence Man and The Life of Donald Trump, which is from him being a real estate mogul to now. And I also just finished Liz Cheney's book, which is just about about the trial, the January 6th trials in America. And before that, James O'Brien's book about the rise and fall of Britain and Brexit and the Tories and so on. So I'm really, I don't know where it comes from. Probably from my dad, I think. My dad was very, very political and very much involved in Irish politics. So I think that that's probably where it comes from. But I just find it all very, very interesting, um, because these people and these parties are parties that are going to, shape our future here in Europe and in the world. And people wonder why am I so into American politics, and I think one of the big reasons is because it doesn't just affect America; it affects everywhere. It affects all countries. It affects Europe. It affects Ukraine. It affects Israel and Palestine and etc. So there is everything is connected, and I just find it all very, very fascinating. And it's a very interesting time to be interested in politics now, I think. But I suppose one of my base questions whenever I'm reading stuff or whatever I'm, talking, listening to stuff, or whenever I hear things on the radio, I'm obviously a card carrying liberal. Um, I'm gay. I firmly believe in the woman's right to choose. I believe in big government. I believe in I believe in climate change. I believe in all the things that liberals believe in. I suppose if I was in America, I would be called a socialist, like, AOC, Alexandria Ocasio Cortez. I would be, or Bernie Sanders. I would be a socialist. But I think that's where politics in America and Europe differ. There's definitely different socialism here and socialism in America. Are being a liberal here and being a socialist in America are pretty much the same thing. Um, but one thing that always gets me or makes me think is, how can a gay man be a conservative? So how can a gay guy, like for instance in America, a Republican, how can there be a gay Republican? How can you stick up for a party that doesn't believe in you? Or how can you be a gay conservative in England, like the Tories, who, you know, don't want you particularly to exist. Like, I know things are much more liberal nowadays. Like, for instance, in my own country, in Ireland, we have three main parties now. We have Fine Gael, which is a centre left party. We have Fianna Fáil, which is a centre right party. And then we have Sinn Féin, which was the political wing of the IRA, but now they will be a left party. They will be a socialist party. And they are the three main parties in Ireland. Now, when I say that they are, when I say Fianna Fáil is a centre right party, it's a centrist party much more than it will be a right party. Same with Fine Gael. The two parties have grown ideologically very similar, and they've grown into this party of acceptance because there's been a huge separation of church and state in my country, in Ireland. Because of all the scandals with priests and the Magdalen laundries and this industrial schools and so on, there has been just this huge big separation of church and state. So, if you go on to their websites, like Fianna Fáil's website or Fine Gael's website, there's a whole, section dedicated to the LGBTQ plus agenda, because they have moved on. Or abortion, for instance, when abortion became legal in Ireland, which is only very recently, the last couple of years. Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, all of the parties voted for abortion, whereas, I think it was even up to the 80s, a Taoiseach, which is our Prime Minister, would have to ask the church to if he was allowed to go to a funeral of a foreign dignitary who wasn't Catholic. So much has changed in my country, so much, and it is because of the divide between church and state, and it just got me thinking about it. In America, especially because it's so incredibly polarized, and in other parties, other parts of the world, like Turkey and Poland, etc. There's such division now between right and left. There's very little middle ground, and I just wonder, when I think about myself, could I be a conservative? And I do listen to conservative media, like I listen to the Bulwarks on YouTube, which is a conservative leaning podcast or YouTube channel. But the people on it believe in democracy, and they believe in the rule of law, and they believe that Donald Trump is a danger to America and to the world. And one of the guys who I really admire on it is a guy called Tim Miller, who is gay, and he was a Republican, and I don't know if he still is, but he was a Republican. And I just wonder, how do you do that? How do you say you are that? How do you say you're a Republican when the party that you are involved in voted against gay marriage, or they voted against your right to be happy? They voted against rights, legal rights to adoption, to everything. They're currently, these religious right Christian nationalists in America are banning books that have anything to do with LGBTQ plus ideology. These school boards are trying to stop teachers from teaching all of these things because of the sexuality, or because of this trans issue, which is a non-issue. I mean, there's like 1% of the population is trans or something like that, and they've made it this huge big issue to, you know because everything else is going relatively well in their country. Joe Biden is doing extremely well with all of the things that he's brought in, like all of the, you know, very little unemployment. Obviously, things are still expensive, but they are around the whole entire world. But they've brought in this cudgel of trans to beat the left wing with, and I just find that, like, it's just so bizarre to listen to, But being back to, back to being gay and a Republican, or a conservative, you know, how do you justify that in your head? I understand I understand that people believe in conservatism when it comes to money, when it comes to policy, and so on. And I do know that there is, you can be a conservative in that way. You believe in small government. You believe that it's up to your state to make the rules. You don't want a big government, changing the laws in your state. I do sort of get that for conservatives, but then I don't understand those people, generally speaking, especially in the South, are all these Christians, or all these Christians, when I use the word lightly, Christians, are these, Christian nationalists, evangelical people who, to my mind and from what I listen to, just have hate in their heart. They don't have love. They don't have appreciation. They won't let live and let live. And, to me, you know, politics should be separate from that. That's another issue. I know that religion comes into pretty much everything in America. In Brazil, for instance, you had Bolsonaro, who pretty much is now going to be put into prison, or at least tried for his crimes against the Brazilian population. And there's still people who absolutely love this man. I mean, this man wanted to bring back dictatorships. He wanted to bring back the occupation by the armies in Brazil, and that's what he wanted. That's what he thought was the right thing to do. And you just sort of go like, how can people say that they are for all of that, and then also, you know, and be gay? Like, in Ireland, for instance, during the referendum, there was two particular gay men who used to be dragged out on television all the time when the arguments were made for and against gay marriage. So on the against side, there was obviously the church, the Catholic Church, and the groups on the right of the argument. And they used to bring out these two particular men. I'm not going to mention their names because they don't warrant mentioning. And they would bring these two gay guys out, and these guys would be, oh, totally, marriage should be between a man and a woman. I'm a gay man and I believe in this. And you're just looking at this person going, you're a sad fucking bastard. I'm sorry, how the hell can you be against yourself? You must be such a self-hating gay person if that's what you really, really believe. And, thank God in Ireland we won the referendum by a huge landslide. I mean, we Little Ireland's come a long, long way. But, I think about those two guys, afterwards, just like, they're so well known for being against themselves, against progress, against, making lives better for millions of gay people. And you're just like, how can you live with yourself for that? I just don't get it. And I feel the same way in America about, watching these guys in America who, you know, they constantly get caught with their pants down. They're constantly caught on apps. And, you've got this very famous politician who is in cahoots with Trump, and I think he's Carolinian. And his name is, I can't say his name just in case, but his name, his first name rhymes with bin, and second name rhymes with Rayam, Bin Rayam, Binny Rayam. But this guy is well known to be a gay man. He's well known to be, totally into into the apps and all of that sort of stuff, and yet he's a mad conservative religious Republican. But you've got all of these guys who get caught non-stop on apps, and with their pants down, and talking to young guys. There's just been that guy in England, for instance, that guy who was on, he ended up being on Grinder and then getting caught by getting blackmailed by a guy on Grinder, or a group on Grinder, to get the telephone numbers of his colleagues, and he of course gave it to them, and then eventually comes clean. And you're just like, what the fuck, man? All because of what? All because you're gay? All because you're in a conservative government, or you're in the Republican Party, or you're wherever you are? You can't be who you want to be because you're too terrified that you'll be voted out, because the people they don't like you, they don't want you there. Like what's that trans woman, Kardashian. Caitlyn Jenner, for instance, she actually ran for the Republican Party. She ran to be elected member of Parliament, I think, or the equivalent, or governor, or something like that. And she actually went to like CPAC, I think it's called, and they booed her, and they just hated her. And it's like, these people are the people you're looking to vote for you, and you're like, they hate you because of who you are, because of what you represent. And then you're turning your back not just on who you are, but you're turning your back on the LGBTQ plus community, because you are voting for a party, or you are standing for a party that hates you, that wishes you weren't alive, that they are for things like conversion therapy, etc. And I just don't understand that. There was an American politician, I think his name was Aaron Schock, or Schock or something, and he was this beautiful looking American politician with beautiful body, and he, for years and years and years, said he wasn't gay, and then he was in some scandal involving embezzling money, and he left, and then he was, despite everybody knew he was gay, there's no way he could have been anything but being gay, and then he was caught in Coachella with his hand down the trousers of a fella and snogging the head off some guy, and you're like, and then eventually came out and he's like, I'm so sorry. And he voted against gay marriage. He voted against the protections for the LGBTQ plus community. And it's just like, what the hell, man? And like, people now embrace him. And it's like, what have you done? So now that you're gay, what have you done to make amends for what you did before? And the majority of them have done nothing. I mean, this guy, I saw him on an interview. He said that the reason he was so against gay marriage, etc., is because of his family, because his family are all evangelical, and so on. And I'm just like, I'm sorry, but that's just not good enough. That's just not good enough. Like, I know a story of a guy who, he comes from an evangelical background, and the poor man, he was kicked out of his family. His family didn't want to know. He hasn't talked to his. He eventually came out to his wife, and he couldn't live this lie anymore. He couldn't live the big ginormous lie that he was straight, and he believed in, and was an evangelical. And you just sort of go, and he was kicked out of his house. Obviously the wife was really pissed off at him. His children don't talk to him anymore. His whole community shunned him, and he moved away. Now he's married to a guy, and he's living a great life, but he still has that in his past, all because of what? All because he was gay. And it just, when he was a Republican, and he believed in all the hype Republicans believe in, and it just makes you think, like, why would you be like that? And it's just in my mind, and I'd love to know if there, anyone watching my little YouTubey things, give us an explanation as to why people are like that, or why gay men are like that. Is it just because they were brought up that way? Like, I heard a guy on Pod Save America today. I know it's not Pod Save America. It was on the Bulwarks, I think, and it was on David Pakman's show, which is an American show that I watch. And this guy is a nurse, and he's been a Republican. And this guy is gay, and he's got a husband, and he canvassed the last two times for Trump because he believed in everything he said, and and you're like, what the hell? Like, what? And it just got me thinking. That's why I'm doing this. It got me thinking. He was a nice guy. He clearly head screwed on. He's very proud to be a gay man, etc. And you're just there like, and he's still a Republican. He doesn't believe in Donald Trump anymore, but he's still a Republican. He always will be. And I'm just like, okay, explain that to me. So that's what I'd love to know. I'd love to know if you could explain that to me. Like, the things that get me, I suppose, the most is, for instance, in Brazil, when Bolsonaro was in power, he was a disgusting, disgusting man. So crass, so rude, so just horrible. If you ever want to look up and see what this man was like, Stephen Fry did an amazing interview with him on YouTube for a BBC program many years before he got into power, and he interviewed him. If you want to just see what this fucking horrible man is like, have a look on that. It's just put in Stephen Fry interview with Jair Bolsonaro. But while he was in power, so many trans people, for instance, trans females especially, were murdered in his country, all because he gave them license to go out there and to do the horrible unspoken things and do them out in the open. And that's exactly what Trump is like in America. It's like, you've got all, before the fringe was locked away, it was something that you would go maybe to go to a secret meeting about. Now it's just out there in the open. Now it's just free fall. You can say whatever you like this man is currently, as of today, he's currently in a court case, um, because he paid two people, a porn actress and a Playboy bunny. He paid them both hush money, to keep them quiet because he was running for president, and he apparently paid them out of the funds for his campaign, allegedly. And if that had been, you know, if that had been 10 years ago, he would be gone, absolutely gone. Like, look at Bill Clinton, what happened with Clinton, it very, very nearly ruined his career. And the poor woman, Monica Lewinsky, who she bared the brunt of all of the criticism, and she was only in her 20s. Like, that's another story. Like, that's just horrific story for her. But you just think to yourself, like, this is the man that people want in power again in America, and he could get it. He could absolutely get it, and it's so terrifying, and it gives license to all these right wing groups who just hate me, hate my husband, hate my way of life. They hate everything to do with freedom. They say that they're for freedom. They're not for freedom. Freedom is letting people live and let live the way they want to, and love who they want to, and be who they want to. Like, if you want to be a trans person, be a trans person. You know, the other thing that gets me is these people go, oh, it's indoctrinated, and they're being forced to do this. Have you ever seen what you have to go through to become a woman if you're a man, for instance, or to be the vice versa? It's absolute hell. Nobody would choose to do that because it's so soul destroying for the person and for their bodies and all of the things they have to do to become who they want to become, who they know they are in their bodies. And you think to yourself, like, these people on the right are oh, it's just a snap decision, or they're being indoctrinated because of books. It's like, this has nothing to do with that. This is who these people are deep down inside, I believe. I mean, I'm not a trans person, so I don't know. I'm shh, sorry. I obviously am a gay man. But I just wouldn't wish that on anybody, because it's just so unfair. It's just so horrible for them, to be who they want to be. I mean, why can't they be who they want to be? Why can't these people live a life that they want to live, and be happy, and like, what is the problem? Why are the right so scared of progress, or why are they so scared of that? Why is it the trans thing that is so terrifying to the right? Why is it that gay men scare the shit out of people? Not so much as they used to, but this is the whole thing about, like, being a gay man who believes in conservatism. I just don't understand it. I can't get my head around it, and I'd love to understand it. So, if you have any idea, or if any of this makes sense, I just needed to get it off my chest, my rather red chest. I thought I'd just do a little bit of a rant about it. So, if you have any comments about it, please leave them afterwards, and I'll talk to you all again soon.